Bad Movie Brothers. I'm Eric.
I'm Chad.
And this time we watched Dracula, Sovereign of the Damned.
No one is ready for this.
This was a wild one. It is our very first. Here we are, more than 30 movies. We have done more than 30 episodes of Bad Movie Brothers.
Uh-huh.
This is our first animated feature.
Holy cow, and our last.
I could not begin or end to tell you what this movie is about, save that Dracula, the Lord of the Vampires, has fallen in love. And basically the plot of the movie is that he and a human woman have a baby. And then all of the forces of creation want to just stop Dracula from living his life.
Is this the usual Dracula story? I've never, read it. I can't believe that it is, but I wouldn't be surprised if I was wrong.
Chad, my friend.
Yeah.
Much as in a previous episode, we discussed how the Smothers Brothers are very much in my wheelhouse. Dracula is very much in my wheelhouse. Dracula, probably my favorite novel.
Okay.
I am a big fan of Dracula.
All right. Did any of this happen in the novel?
I've read Dracula a couple of times. I've seen many movies of Dracula. This is one of the wildest things I have ever seen about the Prince of Darkness. It has nothing whatsoever, outside of a couple of character names, it has nothing whatsoever to do with the Dracula novel or really any iteration of the Dracula story, except there was in the 1970s a well-regarded comic book from Marvel Comics called The Tomb of Dracula. And this movie very loosely adapts the back half, like the last 40 issues of Tomb of Dracula.
Have you read this comic book series?
I had not the whole thing, not this part of it, no. But what I understand to be the case is that they took like 40 issues of comics, but also the second 40 issues, like issues like 41 through 80, condensed them way down to about 80 minutes and made it a movie, so that you're also not getting any of the stuff that leads up to this. Because this is very much a movie that just starts off running. Dracula, this movie. Well, first off, this movie starts with an insane voiceover that isn't about Dracula or vampires or anything like that. It is about the creation of the universe.
The very elements of nature itself are in constant upheaval, an eternal combat of opposites. Light against darkness, heat against cold, motion against inertia. And on the world of humankind, the awesome struggle of good against evil, the conflict between love and malevolence.
That is the scope of things that you're dealing with right off the bat.
This was a fever dream. There are so many things happening.
So many.
I could not keep up. I needed a spreadsheet to understand what was happening.
There was simultaneously so much happening in this movie and almost nothing happening in this movie.
Yes.
It is bananas.
The only reason I knew what was happening is because Dracula talks to himself so much in this movie that I was able to keep up through his own dialogue to himself.
It's the heavenly light of revival. It's coming from the cemetery. What's the meaning of this?
Well, Dracula, first off, in this movie is a straight-up textbook narcissist.
Yeah.
He not only talks to himself all of the time, he also will not, everything is about him. Anything that happens to any of the other characters, Like, this is getting way ahead of ourselves.
Oh, here we go.
So Dracula has a baby in this movie. The baby gets killed. Doesn't die, gets killed. Baby gets shot. And then God, who is a character in this movie, brings the baby back to life as a full-grown, superpowered adult. And as Dracula notices this is happening, his reaction isn't, they're bringing my baby back to life. It's, well, I have to stop them from bringing my baby back to life. God is only bringing my baby back to life to punish me.
Now I understand it. The enemy is going to bring him back to life in an attempt to bring about my downfall by making me confront my own son in a test of his heavenly powers against the black powers given to me by Satan.
And he tried several times to stop it.
It's a lot.
He didn't, fail the once and be like, oh, I'm wrong. He just kept going.
He's like, I have to stop this from... In a scene that is ostensibly about the baby's mother, the bride of Dracula, Dolores. That is ostensibly about how Dolores, how her, I guess, piety or whatever is being rewarded by the resurrection of her dead child.
Why was this in Boston?
Why is this Japanese cartoon about Dracula set in Boston? I don't know.
Why did they choose Boston? They could choose any of the. I don't get it.
I don't know. Well, so the movie starts. This is how you know, like outside of the crazy beginning of the universe stuff, you know you're in some pretty bonkers territory. Because the movie starts with a cult of Satan worshipers preparing to offer a woman, Dolores, to Satan to be his bride. And apparently not in the usual like blood sacrifice way. In like a straight up, she's going to like be his wife and like cook for him and stuff kind of a way.
And now, let all hearts join in joyous praise of Dolores, Bride of Satan. Hail Dolores, Bride of Satan. Hail Dolores. Hail to Almighty Lucifer.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like. Make a family.
But then Dracula shows up and apparently purely out of spite steals her and allows her to believe that he is Satan, whereupon they fall in love with each other.
Oh, man. This is crazy.
It's wild.
So, okay.
All right.
We could spend all day on this plot alone.
The next 30 episodes of this show could be about Dracula, Sovereign of the Damned.
Yeah. There's so many things that happen. He's still, being a vampire, killing people vampire style.
Albeit with glowing fangs that make a sound.
And pulsating eyes.
that make the same sound. Everyone's eyes in this movie make the same, like, sword being unsheathed sound effect.
If you truly hate Dracula, you will join me as a hunter whose whole life is dedicated to tracking him down and liquidating him.
One of those people is a damn dog. Don't forget that.
Don't get me going on this dog. Don't get me going on this dog.
We're going to have to, because he's crazy.
We will, but anyway.
But he's killing people in a vampire way, just in Boston, And at one point, there's a witness who is a drunk, and he doesn't kill the drunk. He leaves him alone, but the news finds him and interviews him, and he sounds crazy because he's talking about a vampire. But at the end of the newscast, they say, "Oh, he's also had alcoholic hallucinations for 30 years, so you might not want to listen to it."
So, A, why did we interview him?
What? Yeah, what?
And then B, then they say that he has now been committed to an institution.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Which seems like an overreaction.
I kept waiting for G.I. Joe to show up. That's what this cartoon looked like to me. I was
It
just
really
waiting for
did.
that.
It looked like it really reminded me of Voltron.
Yeah.
Because I think Voltron used a lot of those same sound effects and stuff.
Sure. Now, okay. Much like a previous episode in Speed Zone where things happened and I didn't follow the connections,
Yeah.
this film, all of a sudden a younger gentleman named Frank Drake showed up. And I didn't follow this process at all. Apparently his name is actually Dracula, and he knows Dracula? I don't understand.
He's like the great-great-great-great-grandson of Dracula from before Dracula turned into a vampire.
But he knows who he is.
Yeah, because, that is the thing I think I liked about this movie, which is that there's no one in this movie who's like, there's no such thing as Draculas.
Yeah.
This is a movie where everyone in this world is just like, oh yeah, Dracula's a guy and you have got to look out for Dracula.
Right.
Like if you go out at night, there is a not unreasonable chance that you are going to get straight up Dracula'd.
If you think you got a chance against the likes of Count Dracula, you've got another thing coming.
Mr. Frank Drake.
Who, if I may, is the worst.
Yes, he's being recruited to help destroy Dracula.
Yes.
And part of this recruitment is to offer him $100,000.
Yes.
His response to this is, oh, well, that's more than I made last week, so I'm in. What? How much did he make last week?
In here is a check for $100,000.
That's more money than I made all last week. But I'm afraid it's still not quite enough for me to risk my life for.
Well, and he says it like that's more than I make in a week. As if like, but he's still pulling down like 60 grand a week or something.
Yeah, what are you talking about, Frank? If you're pulling that type of money, it's not worth it, buddy.
It's what? Well, and he's recruited by two descendants of the heroes from the Dracula novel.
Yeah, whatever.
An old man in a wheelchair, and what we are to understand is a foxy lady.
Yeah, I guess.
Frank Drake, within minutes of his introduction, gets into a straight-up fight with the guy in the wheelchair.
Yes.
Which was amazing because it required the lady to push the wheelchair at Frank Drake.
Right. Right.
And you'd think she'd be like, we're leaving.
Now, okay. So when they get in a fight, the fight is explained as, oh, I had to test your expert martial arts skills.
Yes.
We didn't set that up at all. That just got thrown in our faces that he's an expert martial artist.
Everything in this movie gets thrown in our face. There's no setup for anything. Everything is in your face all of the time in this movie.
Fever dream.
Well, because not long after this, the movie jumps ahead a year.
Yes.
And we have seen very little of Dracula himself up to this point. We see him kidnap the lady, fall in love at first sight with her, and then like quasi-renounce eating people. And then and then there's a bunch of stuff with Frank Drake, and then it's a year, and Satan.
Yep.
Let's not forget that Satan is also a character in this movie, and he is PO'd because Dracula had the audacity to steal his would-be girlfriend.
You imbecile! You permitted my intended bride to be stolen away right under your nose by that imposter, Count Dracula!
Now listen to this. Satan. Satan.
Satan?
He has the patience to wait that year before attacking Dracula.
Not only does he have the patience to wait a year, then when the year is up, Satan's plan is to get his followers to lure Dracula to his evil Satan church so Satan can talk to Dracula, to which my reaction was, he's Satan. Why does he need Dracula to be anywhere in particular? Why does he just show up in Dracula's nice apartment he shares with his wife? Because that was the thing, is after this year, they just drop on us like a bombshell. Dracula is now married and has a baby.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Why is he waiting a year? What's the deal? Like, just take care of it.
Yeah, and I don't think you need to involve these cult dudes, Satan. You're Satan.
Yeah, what a waste. I didn't get it.
No one gets it, man. No one gets it.
In this year that transpires,
Transylvania?
We do get a little bit of what the vampire killers, Frank Drake and his group, are doing.
Yes, yes.
And this involves what appears to be a Doberman who wears a cross necklace.
Collar.
I don't think that's a collar. It's like a necklace.
It's a collar.
And he's been trained to smell evil.
Elijah was raised in a church until they caught him drinking the holy water.
I don't get it. What can he do?
Elijah's nose is an unerring radar, incredibly sensitive to the scent of evil. We can depend on him to lead us to Count Dracula wherever he may be hiding. Even with his unholy powers, Dracula can't fool or confuse Elijah.
But he's not good at it.
Preach, sister.
He does not smell evil at all. You telling me they walk around for a year and nothing happens? They'd be busting people up all over Boston.
They go around for a year. They end up with a map with a drawing of a bat on it.
Yeah, that's the location where Dracula might be hiding.
And similarly, Frank Drake is like, this dog sucks.
Yeah.
Which is the only time in the movie Frank Drake isn't wrong.
Right.
And Harker, the guy in the wheelchair, he says, no. You see, what's the dog's name?
Elijah.
Elijah did his job right because he showed us everywhere that Dracula wasn't.
Has proved his worth by telling us where Dracula wasn't. Now he can finish his job by showing us where he is. Right, Elijah?
What?
Yeah, buddy, hey, no.
That's not how
No,
this
that's
works,
not
dude.
right. No.
And then he says something like, and now it is time for him to finish his job by telling us where Dracula is.
Okay, so as you could probably tell, there's a lot going on in this movie that's crazy. There's a lot of violence. There is a lot of blood. And as you've pointed out, this is an animated film.
Yes.
In 1980.
Yes, a TV movie, as I understand.
Is this for children?
I mean, I guess Japanese children? I don't know, it's an anime.
Look at you go.
It's an anime. And
Yeah.
I'm not an
but that's
anime.
not- But was that a thing in 1980?
Listen, I'm not an anime guy.
Oh, out of your wheelhouse.
Yeah, we are now firmly out of my wheelhouse.
Got it.
But it's my understanding that some anime is for grown-ups.
Uh-huh.
So I would say that this is either at least initially intended for adults,
Yep.
or like the whole family. I don't know. It is not. I don't know that it's much more violent than like Voltron was.
There's no blood in Voltron.
There's not that much blood in this. There is a little bit of blood.
Okay.
I don't know. It wasn't my usual high level of blood. You go watch Netflix's Dracula. You'll see some blood in that thing.
Did see it. I did see it.
Oh yeah, what'd you think of that?
I did not like the turn to modern day.
I liked the idea. I really enjoyed the cojones of it.
Oh.
But I did not necessarily think that that part was executed as well as it could have been.
No, not well.
But I really loved the first two episodes.
Yes, those were terrific.
The superhero nun.
once we were done with the boat, I was out.
Yeah, that's fair. Although I liked the stuff with like the crematorium. I thought that was an interesting idea.
Whatever.
But but those first two parts I really liked.
Oh, indeed.
But I'll tell you what Netflix's Dracula didn't have that this movie does have.
What?
Dracula eating a hamburger.
Yeah, because he got turned back to mortal. I don't remember why.
Satan, maybe?
Satan did that to him? I can't remember.
Satan, who made him a vampire to begin with.
And then he became the most drug addict to try to find another vampire to make him back into a vampire.
Right, because this whole movie is basically Dracula whining about how much it sucks to be Dracula.
Yeah, I mean, here's what it is. I feel like this particular, I'll call it an episode of Dracula's life, followed like 10 other episodes that I didn't see.
Yeah, exactly. But which they kept trying to fill you in via these unending flashbacks.
Or Dracula talking to himself.
Right.
Awful.
Not great.
No.
But so much of the movie is it sucks to be Dracula, including a lengthy retelling of Dracula's origin. Wherein, by the way, it's during the flashbacks that I thought the animation at least was pretty good in most of this. But it's during the flashbacks where they really skimp on the animation and start using just a lot of still images.
Yep.
So Dracula's telling the story of being Vlad the Impaler.
Right.
And he tries to sell being Vlad the Impaler as this great chore of his life. Like that he didn't want to impale these people.
They made him do it.
But he had to. He had to do it. But so part and parcel with that seems to be that he wishes he wasn't a vampire anymore because he wants to settle down with Dolores, Bride of Satan.
What a terrible name.
Dude, every time they called her Dolores, Bride of Satan, that was a solid laugh for me.
Ugh, man.
But Dracula then is finally mortal, and he doesn't even hang out with Dolores for a minute. He straight up leaves to go find a vampire to re-vampire himself.
Hey, what are we supposed to think about good and God and stuff in this movie?
That it's good?
Except he sends a superhero to kill Dracula?
Yeah, because Dracula's bad.
He is more a victim than a willing servant of Satan, my son. He did not choose to be a vampire, and you must not blame him.
Mother, I have to kill him.
Kill your father?
I have no choice in this matter. That's why I was revived.
But he loves you so much.
I am only doing what I was created to do, Mother.
Oh, that's okay.
Apparently, like, in the context of this movie, I think that's what we're supposed to feel, yes. But Satan hates Dracula, God hates Dracula.
All the other vampires hate him.
All the other vampires hate him.
That dog hates him.
Drake hates him.
Yep.
This is, you know everybody hates Chris. This is Everybody Hates Dracula.
Oh, a sitcom.
Right?
On the WB.
There you go. Blah.
Ew.
When they get Dracula into the Satan church,
Yep.
so the Satan cult can kill him. And then also Drake and his friends show up. Because Drake and his friends exist in this movie purely to be looky-loos.
Right.
Like, things happen in Dracula's life, and then they just happen to be there. But anyway, Dracula's in the church, and they trap him in the church by dropping these steel doors with big crosses on them. Which you're like, oh man, they got Dracula now. Those crosses, which Dracula talks about how they're bad news for him, then do nothing.
Correct.
Nor does being out in the day or any of the usual stuff. Dracula's just fine.
They just leave an imprint on his hand that destroys other vampires, but not him.
That's right. But I think he's human when that happens.
Yeah, but it wouldn't leave an imprint on your hand if you're a human.
No, it was hot. The cross was like on fire, like he like got out of a fire or something.
Okay.
You mean in the scene where the part of the movie where Dracula is now trying to defend like 3 children who live alone in the Alps from a vampire horde?
Here, sir. You look like you must be starved to death. Here's some hot soup my mother made.
Soup! Don't be a fool!
Were they vampires or were they zombies? I couldn't quite keep up with that.
They were vampires, but they were zombie type like they were like real low-rung vampires.
I gotcha.
They weren't the sort of vampires who enjoy the New York nightlife.
No, that lady enjoyed her nightlife.
There's a part where this movie, with everything that's going on with Dracula, all that crazy stuff, about, I don't know, 45 minutes into the movie just says timeout. And we get this little vignette of a woman at like a nightclub dancing with a perv, and then the perv takes her home, and you're led to believe he's gonna take advantage of her, and she's like, nope, I'm a vampire sucker, and she kills him, and there's a cool like wash of blood transition.
Yeah, on the radio it comes on that there's been vampire attacks or something. Yeah. And this guy claims to be a vampire.
Oh, right.
And then she actually is.
Yeah, and she turns the tables on him. And then later in the movie, Dracula, she's the first one Dracula goes to find to get his vampire mojo back.
Right.
Whereupon now she's purple and has a crazy costume.
Layla, come here.
I know that voice.
Layla.
Dracula, you spoiled my dinner, and he's RH positive, too. So, what brings you around after all these years and years and years and years?
Layla, I had a run-in with Satan, and as a result, he took away all my powers and made me a mortal man again.
A mortal man, you say? Very interesting.
But that one scene, that little scene of the nightclub, I really loved that. That
was cool. That was cool.
If that had been the movie, I think that was a movie.
It was like Jem dancing around.
Truly outrageous.
Now, okay, you talked about when Dracula gets trapped in the Satan church.
Yeah,
This is also the time that the Satan worshippers shoot and kill the baby.
Dracula's baby. Janus.
Who has a weird name.
Well, it's the Greek god with 2 faces.
And when he gets shot, Dolores spurts out, "Oh, Jesus, they shot Janus." So, what's the deal? Is she a Satan worshiper? Is she a Jesus worshiper? What's going on?
Dude, let's get into Dolores. Outside of it being such a comical name.
Yes, terrible name.
At least, now, hey, for all the Doloreses watching, the Dolori, for all of you, I don't think Dolores is in itself a terrible name.
The Doloriati?
Sure. But Dolores and Bride of Satan do not...
Bad combo.
They don't go well together.
Let all hearts join in joyous praise of Dolores, Bride of Satan.
Bad sandwich.
Dolores, she is the definition of a female character who is just there for the male characters.
Yeah, man.
She has like no personality. She will go along with whatever is going on.
Yeah, I mean, she's, Bride of Satan, Bride of Dracula, whatever.
I'll be whatever evil lord's bride you want. That's cool.
Yep.
But they try to give her the same introspection Dracula gets, where like there's a whole part where she's like, maybe I'm paying for my wicked ways. And you're like, what wicked ways?
Right, you didn't have any.
And then later they show us the flashback of her wicked life where I guess she was sort of a biker for a little while.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, Dolores is nuts. And then, also, by the way, the dating montage.
Oh, no.
Where Dolores is talking to Dracula about what it was like when they were dating.
Right.
That's pretty good.
They're just at a restaurant.
And Dolores says something really insipid like, but you listened.
When we were together, you never took your eyes off me. And when we talked, you spoke to me, not at me. And you cared what I thought.
Yes, you listened to me.
Like, it was really feeding Dracula's incel ego at that point.
Terrible.
Like Dracula's one of them internet good guys.
Yes.
I don't know. Why am I always in the friend zone?
Right. When he stole you from Satan's church.
Right, right. To be his bride.
In Boston.
Bunch of Satan worshipers in Boston, man.
Explains the Red Sox.
I was going to say it explains Gritty, but that's like Philly or whatever, right?
Yeah, it's Philly.
Yeah.
Should have done Tom Brady or whatever.
Is that's a sports guy?
Yeah,
that's a sportsman.
Don't do that.
You mean our father's hero, Tom Brady?
There we go. Now you're getting it. Now you got it.
What's he gonna do if Brady retires?
What does he do every day? I don't know.
He's gonna pick the new winning team to be a big fan of all of a sudden. That's right. That's my hot take on my dad. Wild. What a wild, wild movie.
I have to recommend seeing it.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like I said, the art style isn't bad. The weird, I've mentioned a couple of times now the weird voiceover at the beginning.
Yes.
Which is wholly unnecessary. And then that guy, as much as Dracula talks to himself, that voiceover guy keeps like telling you what the hell's going on in the story too. And initially I was like, you don't need this. You don't need this guy. But by the end of the movie, when he would show up, I was like, there he is, that's my guy.
Tired and famished with the hunger of 500 years, Dracula desperately needs money for food. He sees his chance.
And he also isn't like, he doesn't have that voice of like even an 80s cartoon voiceover guy. He doesn't have like the voice of the previously on G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe is America's Special Mission Strike Force. Their mission? Defend America against the forces of Cobra.
Sure.
This guy sounds like a dork in a sound booth.
Yes.
But by the end of the movie, when he's like, but what Dracula didn't understand.
Yes. Was that this guy has a bunch of bombs in his fake wheelchair and he's going to kill you.
That's right. Thank you. I was sitting here going, wait a second, how did this movie end?
He gets killed by the wheelchair bomb.
There you go. The one thing Dracula can't protect himself against.
Nope.
Wheelchair bomb. Chad, can you rank Dracula Sovereign of the Damned?
This is tough. I don't think that I can.
Can this movie exist in the same universe as any other movie?
See, that's the thing, is that I don't feel it's fair to compare what happens in this film to what else we've seen. It's not playing with the same rules.
And yet, we must.
It has to be, oh man.
Yeah, this is, you know, our last episode we found Speed Zone a hard movie to quantify. If anything, Dracula is only harder.
Yes.
I would say I feel like Dracula has more potential rewatchability.
Yeah, I need to rewatch it to know what's going on.
And that not unlike Speed Zone, at least it moves. Like,
see, here's the deal.
So much is happening.
Yeah, here's the deal. There's several of our top movies I wouldn't recommend anybody watch.
Yeah.
This movie I will remember and recommend people watch it. Because it's insane.
I would say, I mean, and I don't disagree with you, which I think means we're talking about a solid top 10 contender.
At least.
Like, looking at the list, you know, a similar movie is Midnight Hour.
Yes.
In that there are also vampires in that one.
vampires.
Midnight Hour is currently number 3. I don't think that Dracula is as good as Midnight Hour.
No, I was going to say, what's number 3, what's number 4?
4 is Grunt, the wrestling movie.
That was a good one.
Then No Retreat, No Surrender. Then How I Got Into College.
Oof.
Then Rosebud Beach Hotel.
Oof.
Then Cohen and Tate.
There you go.
And then Dolly Dearest.
Right in between the hotel and Cohen and Tate. I think that's where it belongs.
You think, I don't. I was thinking between Cohen and Tate and Dolly Dearest. So like right in that area.
You can.
I can, but I'll agree. I think I would sit down to watch Dracula again before I would watch Cohen and Tate again.
Yes.
Dracula.
Sovereign
of the Damned. We'll be back next time with a bad movie.
Indeed.